I'm joined today by Jyotsna Ramachandran. So Jyotsna, welcome to the show. Jyotsna is a best-selling author, book publisher, TEDx speaker, and founder of the Author Success Academy. So Jyotsna, my audience, I'm sure, is going to enjoy our conversation today. So please share with us your story and how you help coaches, trainers, speakers, and experts in their fields to build a profitable author funnel through their own book. So Jyotsna, over to you.
Tony, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show. It's indeed a privilege for me. So I am the founder and CEO of Happy Self Publishing. I live in India, far away from where you are speaking. So I was not from the publishing background, had no connection with books or anything literary, but it just happened that I wanted to have a business that gives me more freedom. So about 9 years ago, I quit my job thinking that let me give entrepreneurship a try. If it works, great. If not, I could just go back and find another job. So that's how it all began. And I started with a staff recruitment agency. I ran it for about 2 years. It was doing really well within a short span of time. And when I finally thought that I've made it, the biggest change in my life happened and I became a mom. And that completely turned my life upside down because I could not do so many things that I used to do in the past. I could not attend 100 phone calls, go meet clients, do all of that. That's when I thought I'm right now in the crossroads where I can either decide to be a nice stay-at-home mom or I can focus on my career. But I was really feeling stuck and I felt, can't I just do both? Why should I just pick one of the two? Can't I do both? That's when I thought that if I probably had an online business which lets me work at my own pace and gives me the flexibility to work whenever I want, probably when my kid is sleeping, then maybe I can still be an entrepreneur and not have to worry about missing out on my career just because I've become a mom. So that's when I started Googling online how to make money online. And I came across a lot of articles and podcasts back then, about 7 years ago, that spoke about Kindle direct publishing. I just knew that something called Kindle device existed. I did not own one. I had no idea what that was. But since a lot of people, especially in countries like the UK, the US and Canada, were speaking about this very frequently, I just got curious and I started reading a lot about it. I started taking online courses. I hired a coach who was doing this really well. And the model that I started with is very different from what I have today, Tony. So when I started out, I was just using Kindle as a platform to make some quick money. So what I used to do was I would find interesting topics in the internet that people were now talking about. And I would find ghostwriters on freelance websites, pay them a small amount, or say $100 or $200, and make them write a small ebook. And they would do this over a weekend by just compiling a lot of good articles from Google. They would, I too was fascinated because I did not know that I could create such online assets, which I would publish on under different pen names on Amazon. And once those books started making money, I would make back my investment within a week or 2 weeks. So I started doing this on a weekly basis. And within 6 months, I had 50 titles on Amazon, all under different pen names. And that was giving me enough royalties that I could actually close down my other business, which was taking too much of my time. And then I started focusing on this. Then about a year later, Tony, I thought, all this is good, but I was not really feeling so fulfilled because none of those topics were known to me. I was not an expert in any of that. So I thought, let me now take the courage to write my own book, share my real story. And that's how my book, Job Escape Plan, came into reality.
Was the first book you did, was it about obviously the experience on your short stories, if you like, on Kindle, or you chose a totally different topic?
I chose exactly what I did because back then I was asking myself, what were people asking me? Where did people look at me as an expert? So I realized that all the other, especially moms who were around me, were struggling between their jobs in multinational companies and being a mom. Many of them quit their jobs. Many of them went to the jobs that they did not like. And they would always ask me, how am I managing to do something from home? So that's why I wrote this book called Job Escape Plan, which basically focuses on how can you start a business from home and then eventually leave your job if you don't like your job. So I in that book, I spoke not just about Kindle publishing, which was my story, but I also interviewed other experts who were doing uh, things online, but they were using their online business as their main income stream. So I interviewed all those people, put that book together, and I just thought that even if 100 people read my book, it's going to be a success for me because I would have helped all those people with some idea to start something online. But to my surprise, till date, more than 12,000 people have read the book. But back then, when it got published, it quickly climbed the charts in Amazon and hit the #1 position inside multiple categories. And in that year, in 2015, it was also picked by Inc.com as one of the top 10 books for starting your own business. And all that visibility that I received from the book changed everything for me in my life, because then people started to reach out to me to hear more about my story. And many of them would actually ask me how I managed to publish a book, how did I make it a bestseller? And that's when I realized there are so many people out there who are doing such amazing things in their lives and in different aspects of their life. Some could be great parents, some could be great at cooking, some probably are running successful businesses, and they all have this rich experience which they probably want to put it in the form of a book, but they did not know how to do all of that. So in one such interview that I was giving after my book launched, Tony, the interviewer asked me that what you're doing is great. Can you also help others do this? And that gave me the idea to put this together as a service. And I then started Happy Self-Publishing.
That's fascinating. I think, as they say, there's a book in everybody. Rightly, we've all got, every individual person has got some form of skill, knowledge, or expertise that they can share with others, because people do want to hear about this. And I love the idea for you is that you had an idea at the very beginning where you were very entrepreneurial, or you still want to run your own business, but obviously you had limitations, which many mums do, is trying to fit in obviously young children with running the business. So you had an idea where, how do I do that? And then obviously you've come across Kindle, and obviously in terms of this is possible, and you've gone from strength to strength from then, and now you are not only a successful author, but you run an academy to teach other people how to do this. It's fun. I think it's fabulous.
Thank you, Tony. So it's been 5 years now. I'm so happy we have helped more than 500 authors from 35 different countries to publish their books, all thanks to the internet and technology. That I am sitting in India and I have my team members spread across the world, our clients from different countries, and each of their books are being read by thousands of people. So I'm really honored to realize the kind of ripple effect that.
That's fantastic. So if somebody wants to write a book, but like most people, and I was one of those, didn't have a clue where to start, what is the process in terms of what they have to go through? So in terms of your academy, if I came to you and I said to you, Jyotsna, I want to write a book, got lots of experience in my chosen subjects, but I don't know where to start. What's the process, or what's the step?
Sure. So every individual is different, right? Their way of learning and their way of taking action is different. So we have 3 options for people who are just starting out. There are a lot of people who are these DIY kind of people. They just love to learn and do things themselves. And I used to be one of them. When I wanted to write a book, I also went and learned from different people and then started implementing on my own. So Author Success Academy is for those who believe that they have a message in them. They just do not know how to go about it. Okay. So inside the academy, we teach everything based on what I have learned from all of my clients. We keep tweaking our systems and processes. So currently, whatever I think is the best that works for people so that they can finish writing in 3 months and then quickly get the book published and use that book as a credibility tool to not just help a lot of readers, but also help their own business to grow. So those are the kind of people who join our academy, and we teach everything about writing, publishing, and marketing. So they can watch the step-by-step videos and learn the processes. How do you choose the right topic? Because as an expert in a subject, you can write about 10 different things, but how do you choose the right topic? Then how do you actually outline the book? So how do you create your writing rituals and all those foundational things? And then, we talk in detail about the grammar of a book, how it needs to start and finish. So, and then all the different publishing platforms, how do you approach Amazon? What are the different formats? So all that is covered in the academy. But there are also these busy entrepreneurs who may not have the time to go through an in-depth course with so many modules.
That's me.
Right. So for people like you, Tony, we have two other options. One is, this is called Impact Amplifier, which is our flagship program at Happy Self Publishing.
Yeah.
So an Impact Amplifier, it's a 6-month journey with us, where in the first 3 months, you can either choose to work with a book coach, or you can choose to work with an angel writer. And I'll tell you what the difference is.
Yes,
please. If you enjoy writing a book yourself, basically if you enjoy writing as such, and you want to do it yourself, but you need accountability, you need the guidance, you need somebody to see what you've written and give you some feedback and that tough love to make you finish the book within a stipulated time. If you need all of that, a book coach can do it. However, there are also people who just cannot write. They may be dyslexic, or they may be too busy to even sit down and write, they have. So if those are the problems, then even by having a coach, you still have to do the writing, right? Which you don't want to do. So in that case, an angel writer could be the perfect solution, because what these people would do is actually similar to what you are doing, Tony. They would just ask the right questions and they would let you be the guest there and just answer all those questions. And they would do this over a period of time. There would be multiple sessions. In the initial few sessions, the focus would be to choose the topic, get the outline right. But then after that, they would interview chapter by chapter, record all the conversation, and they would ensure that they understand your voice and tonality so that they retain that while writing the book. And then they would keep sharing the progress with you. And at the end of 3 months, you would have the manuscript written. So yeah, this is a great option for people who know that they want to be writing a book. They have everything in place. They have a business, but they just want to have a book to position themselves in a better way. But it's just that they are too busy to do that. So Impact Amplifier could be great for these people.
That's my impression of a ghostwriter, where you got lots of famous people writing their own biographies or whatever it might be. A lot of them don't write it themselves. Obviously, get somebody else to write it, but through a series of interviews, as you suggested. So
since you mentioned the word angel writer, Tony, ghost writer. Let me tell you the difference.
Go on, then. There's a difference, so I didn't know that, so that would be great to hear the difference.
See, I used to work with ghostwriters when I started with Kindle publishing, right? Those 50 books were not written by me. And I really have a lot of respect for these ghostwriters, because these are people who could just write a book on any topic. I would just tell them that, hey, I want to write a book on, say, the coronavirus. They would just go and write one and give it back. But the problem is, they're not the experts in that subject, and they know that I'm also not the expert. So we rely on research done by other people. So
which
it's not
might be right or not.
Yeah. So
correct.
It also secondary information that they rely on.
Okay.
So those are typically what I would call as ghostwriters. They are really good with writing, but they are not the experts in that. Now, angel writers are also not the experts, but they work with experts. So you, the author, is already good at whatever you're doing. The job of the angel writer is to extract that information and put it in the form of a book. So the angel writer is basically assisting you in writing. So it's your book, it's your baby. When I used to publish those ghostwritten books, I did not have the connection with those books because I did not know anything about those topics. But when our clients get their books angel written, they still feel that it's their baby, but it's just that they are working with a midwife to deliver it. So
that's a very good analogy. I like that one. So I must admit, I didn't realize the difference in the terms in terms of angel and obviously ghostwriters. They were different, but the way you explained it, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
I'm telling you, I'm assuming you've got a team of people that you can call upon, depending on if if somebody is an angel, a writer, or even even a coach. They probably are better suited if they got experience in a particular sector or expertise that the individual wants to get a book written on.
Yes, so all the people in our team have been carefully vetted by us. So what we do is all the angel writers and coaches in our team are really good with self-help books
Yeah.
and business books, because
Okay.
those are the kind of entrepreneurs who come
Yeah.
to us
Yeah.
for angel writing
Yeah.
or coaching.
Okay.
We also get fiction manuscripts, but those are already written by the author. So we just have to take
Ah,
care of the publishing and marketing.
okay.
But when it comes to the writing, it's usually the entrepreneurs and professionals who don't have the time to write based on their expertise.
Me again.
So those books invariably fall under the business and the self-help genres. So all our writers are specialized in that, but they also sometimes micro specialize in certain things. Like some writers tell me that, hey, I've already written 5 finance books, and topics related to money really interest me. So the next time you have a client who wants to write about money, finance, any of those stuff, please give me a call. So
Wow, we might have another call after this.
yes, absolutely. So because they also are interested in that and they have the experience of writing a few books in those topics, it's easier for us to choose match that writer for
Yeah.
that project.
Yeah.
So that's the job of our head of author success. She's been with me from day one, and her job is to assemble this team as soon as we get a project. So she finds the right writer, the coach, the editor, cover designer, interior designer. So there are a whole lot of people working behind one book project. And
Yeah.
that's another reason why people like to work with an agency like us, because see, we essentially help our clients to self-publish their books. We are not a publishing house, but if a person has to do it themselves, they have to go and find freelancers to do 10 different things, and
Yeah.
they'll go crazy at the end of the process. So it's easier to have everything done under one roof, where one project manager is going to be the one point contact for everything. So it makes the lives of the authors a lot easier, and that's why I think probably they like to work with us.
Tell me, I mean, this sounds like an ideal service for a lot of people, especially in the business world, as you say. Have you got any notable examples where, again, I don't know if you can even share this with us, but I'm thinking of the successes in terms of, somebody's written a book through your help and it's been a roaring success. I'm sure you've got a few of these examples, but is there any of those you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, we have a non-disclosure, especially for the angel writing services,
Yeah.
because we authors would like to market it as a book written by them, right? They don't.
Yeah.
Some people are happy to give credits in the acknowledgement page, but some people are not. So as a policy, we do not. For everything else, we disclose our clients' names, but for angel writing services alone, we do not, just to protect their identity. But to just give you some examples,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of. So basically, we guarantee an Amazon bestseller rank. So that's there for all our clients, and that's pretty important. I'll later on tell you how that works if you're interested.
I am interested because, again, the more you tell me, the more interested I'm becoming. So
Reveal all the
for my own
secrets.
purpose.
Sure, but that really creates that first, I mean, I would say the credibility for the author.
Yeah.
Because there are so many books getting published every day on platforms like Amazon. So when you say that you're not just an author, but a best-selling author, it's a nice thing to add to your bio, right? So that's something that all our clients get. And also I've seen a lot of clients, they use the book as a tool to change their career. Like recently we worked with the CEO of a company based in Singapore, and he took an early retirement. He was doing extremely well because he wants to start his consulting business. He retired from his corporate job, and as a first step to position himself as a consultant, he wrote a book on artificial intelligence, and he was the author, but it was ghostwritten, it was angel written by my team.
Yeah. Okay.
So now during these COVID times, he launched his business, and it really took off well because he launched it along with the book rather than waiting for another 5 years to establish himself as a consulting expert. He started with the book, and it has paid off really well because his initial clients, all of them came from reading the book.
That's really interesting because this leads to other opportunities. So for this person in particular, then, as you say, he wanted to retire from his main job and he wanted to become a consultant. And the book has given him the opportunity to to do that, and not just do that, but obviously probably fast track what you would have taken him much longer to establish himself as an expert in that field. The book has already done that for him, and that's virtually, I would say overnight, but it's in a much shorter period.
Yeah, and what I feel, Tony, is as thought leaders, people are already giving out a lot of content.
Yeah.
People manage their social media profiles, they keep posting there, they have their blog and podcast. So there is already a lot of content around you, right? You have created so much content, but people have this mental block that I can write a blog post every week, but a book is too much. I can't write 200 pages. But if you actually look at it, look, if you see the volume of content people create, it's not that difficult to write a book if they believe that they need to become an author. And that's another reason, because fewer people do it. The moment you write a book, the perception of people around you changes, because everybody is a blogger and a podcaster these days, right? I mean, that's also, it's very, I mean, it's a very challenging thing. It's not easy. You put in so much of effort to put out every episode. That is totally, I understand that. But generally, when you post, let's say you post that you're releasing your next podcast episode on Facebook, and the next day you say that I'm releasing my book, look at the difference in the number of people who are going to engage with that post. Because the minute you say that you're writing a book, they immediately start looking up to you as the number one authority in whatever you're writing.
I think a book, as you say, has a much more credibility than a podcast or a blog on its own. Book suggests, as you say, you know your stuff, and you are sharing that with the world. So, and it takes more effort to write a book, so it's got to have a higher credence, if you like, in terms of other people's perceptions of you, because you've taken the time to write a book on a subject that you're an expert in. So it must be worth at least taking a look at that book.
Exactly. And talking about the importance of having all these different things, I would also like to touch upon this concept of an author funnel. So what I tell authors is you need to have different assets in the form of a funnel so that the people who read your book actually become your clients in future. So a lot of people write books for different reasons, but if your purpose is to have the book as a lead magnet to grow your business, then you need to have these 4 different steps in your author funnel. So right on top of the funnel, just imagine that as a funnel, like an inverted triangle. Right on top of that is the book. A lot of people are going to find you through your book by reading it on Amazon and other platforms. But after reading the book, people want to know more about you. They would want to continue the conversation outside the book. And those are the people who follow you on social media. So you need to have your presence in a couple of platforms, and also keep giving a lot of free value in the form of your blog or a podcast or your YouTube channel. So it's important to have your show and do all of that so that people who read your book can continue to follow you. And the next level that we're talking about right now is the free value level. They've read the book, they're getting so much of free value from what you're sharing. But after that, there will be a few people who don't want to stop at just all the free information they're getting, but they want to see some results. They want to take action. And these are the people who will step to the next level called the paid value level, where they would not mind buying your online course or join your membership community and learn some of the step-by-step things that they need to do to get some results. So you could price that at $47 or $497, but not something too expensive, so that somebody can easily open their wallet and pay for the results they can get. And then a small portion of these people who are paying you will be those, real action takers, people who are more ambitious. And they are the ones who would want more access to the author. They would ask you, do you have one-on-one coaching? Can I be a part of your group coaching program? Can you come and speak at my conference? Or do you have a service that I can just, outsource to you and not do the work myself? So that's the premium value level. So I feel as an author, if you can just have 1 or 2 things in each of these steps, you create an entire ecosystem around your book. So what happens is you won't just rely on the money that you make by selling the book, but even if just 100 people buy your book, a few of them will actually pay you like $100 for your course and maybe $10,000 for your coaching. And that really becomes a viable business model.
it sounds to me, the analogy I would use, again, it might be the wrong analogy, but your book is the front door to your shop. And if they buy your book, they are entering into your shop, and there's lots of other things that they can buy in your shop. And you are
Right.
at the other end of the shop. If you want one-on-one sort of discussions or coaching from me, then there's a number of things or things you can experience before you come to speak to me. But if you want to come to me, then my time is a little bit more valuable than the information I provide, and it's bespoke to you as an individual, and therefore there's much more value to have coaching from that expert. But they've experienced different layers at different stages, which, if you like, draws them further into you because they like what they experience from their interaction with you and your information you were sharing.
Yeah, I think that analogy is perfect. And a lot of people actually make this mistake of thinking that my premium value is really valuable, but my book is just for, my ebook is just for $2.99. So let me just quickly write something over the weekend and put it out there. But the problem is when people read a book that's not of high quality, they're not going to walk into the shop.
Into
What
the
else
shop,
do you
yeah,
have?
they just walk
Yeah,
by, yeah.
exactly. So I think it's really important to spend at least a good 6 months in doing this in a nice way, because the book is an extension of your personal brand. So give all your best stuff in the book. It's okay to even share your high level coaching program
Yeah,
content inside your
yeah.
book, because it's only the action takers and the people who are really serious who will come to the next level. So just give everything away. And because all the people who are reading your book could be your potential clients in future. So it may take them a few months to climb the ladder and come, but it's really worth it anyways.
You've mentioned obviously the 6 months now a few times, especially with the angel service that you provided. From an hourly point of view, how many sessions does that involve each week or each month for you to that will cover that 6 months?
Sure. So the writing happens in the first 3 months, Tony.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, enough time that we give.
Yeah.
Because if we give anything longer, it's the Parkinson's law, right? It's going to take up so much time unnecessarily. It's not required. But if you just want to do it in a month's time, it's again trying to rush it. So I think 3 months is good enough for both the writer and the author. So what is expected is 1 hour of time every week.
Okay.
That's what is needed on the call. So every week there would be a call for an hour, and probably you will also be given the written material back from the writer. So you will probably have to dedicate another hour in reading through it and giving feedback.
Yeah.
So I think 2 hours a week for 3 months is all that is needed for having the manuscript ready. Once the manuscript is ready, it moves to the publishing team. So the editor would be working on the manuscript to further improve the vocabulary, the sentence structure, and correcting all the mistakes. And then comes the designers. So there will be book cover designers and interior designers to make sure that the book looks fantastic. And these are the essential things that you would need. And after that comes the publishing, where we put it on marketplaces like Amazon and a whole lot of other stores. And then comes other promotional activities like running the bestseller promotions, booking the author on different podcasts, running media outreach campaigns, and all of that.
Again, I love the idea of a one-stop shop. I think for busy people in particular, again, as I keep mentioning it myself, I think I'm your ideal avatar, I think, in terms of what you're doing. So, but it is difficult for business people, especially when they run their own business, where they are very much part of that business rather than obviously overseeing what the work is done. Then to give up obviously an hour or two a week sometimes is going to be a challenge. However, if the benefits that you've described are at the end of that, then it's got to be something that for most people have got to seriously consider, because the benefits vastly outweigh the time that you're going to put into this.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of times authors do not envision the advantages. They think that I'm writing my book because I want to use it as a personal branding tool. I'll get better clients. I can increase my charges. That's what they usually see. But there are so many hidden benefits which one can only experience after the book gets published. I see a lot of my clients who come after the book gets published, they actually cry and they say that this was such a life transformational journey. It was, I thought I'm just putting a book together, but while writing the book, I learned so many things about myself, which I never realized. And as I was putting the book together, I discovered so many things about myself, and now I'm a different person. And some people tell me that when they hold the first copy of the book in their hand, they realize that their expertise can now be quantified. Because till then they did not know what a wonderful expert they were. But now that they see their expertise in physical form, they can actually believe that they are good at whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And that gives them the confidence to charge more, to go on interviews, to speak on stages. So that confidence is something that's intangible, but those are some of the benefits that people have by writing the book.
I think you're right to outline that, because I don't think people fully understand the benefits in its entirety of writing a book, because, as you say, it opens up lots of other opportunities which you would probably never even dream of. It gives you confidence, belief in yourself that, you know, maybe, just maybe, I do know what I'm talking about, and other people want to, more importantly, learn about or hear about what I've got to say, because I am an expert in that field. So I'm interested to know, if you can share this with us, is you mentioned you guarantee now to be on the bestsellers list. Or how do you do, well, what does that mean in, bestsellers? How do you get on a bestsellers list, and how high up the rankings does that mean?
Sure. So the next time somebody tells you that I'm a bestseller, if that person is your friend, you please ask them, bestseller on which list? Because there are so many lists out there.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, that's a good answer, really. So
yeah, so because there is this New York Times bestseller list, which in my opinion is the most difficult, because it's very difficult to understand, and you need to go through a traditional publishing house to even think about that, and you need to have a huge audience.
Yeah.
And then comes the other lists like the USA Today and the Wall Street Journal charts, which are not impossible, but then it takes a lot of money and effort. But then comes Amazon bestseller list, which in my opinion is the easiest achievable list for a first-time author.
Is it right? Okay.
Yeah. So how this works is most of the other lists are weekly charts, whereas the Amazon list is an hourly one. So every 1 hour, every 1 hour, Amazon looks at all the books that have been sold, not just in the entire store, but inside every category and subcategory. Yeah. And it comes out with a list of books. So let's say in a category called personal finance, it'll see which book has sold the maximum in the last 1 hour, and that would be at the number 1 position. The books that have sold the second highest will be in the second position. So that's how the charts work. So now how do we reach number 1 inside any of these categories? Yeah. Firstly, I think we need to be really smart in choosing the right categories. Yeah. So by default, Amazon lets an author put their book in 2 categories only. Yeah. But here is a smart thing we do. We can write to Amazon and have your book listed in up to 10 categories. Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's like a ninja hack. Yeah. But it's also important that we choose relevant categories, but not the most competitive ones. Right. Yeah. I get like if Dave Ramsey or Tony Robbins has written a book that week, and their book is in a particular category, you don't want to be competing against them. Yeah. Because it's a big risk, right? Instead, you can go for categories which is relevant but not so competitive. So that's how you make the list, submit it to Amazon, and have your book listed in 10 different places. And then comes the important job of sending traffic to your Amazon page. Now, here's the important thing. I don't believe in running a campaign that is too long. Like if you have some time and money to run a campaign, do not run it for a month's time, because all we need is for the book to reach the number 1 position. So try to concentrate all your effort, into a shorter span of time. Yeah, like we do an 8-day campaign, because from our experience, we've tried longer, we've tried shorter. 8 is ideal because it lets your book be the number 1 in both the free Amazon store and the paid Amazon store. And once it stays there for a few days, you also earn the nice looking orange badge. And that's what authors actually need. So it's enough actually. And you can later on run additional Amazon ads and Facebook ads on an ongoing basis, but you don't have to really extend your launch beyond a week's time. So what do you do to send people to your Amazon page in that week? So you can rely on two people. One is your own audience, and the other is other people's audience.
Yeah.
So your own audience could be all your followers on social media, your email list, your clients, friends, family, neighbors. Let everybody know that your book is out there, and price discount your ebook at, say, I mean, original price can be $4.99, $9.99, but put it at low the starting price. So I'm telling in dollars because
Well, that's fine.
yeah. So whatever is the equivalent in your country's Amazon store, just to price it at the lowest price point and let everybody know that the book is out there. So let your audience go and buy it. Also, tap into other people's audience. So if you have other friends who are also influencers in the same space, request them to share it with their audience. If you've interviewed people in your book, ask them to share it during the same time. And what we also do is we have a lot of these promotional websites who have a huge email list of regular Amazon buyers. So some of them are free, some of them are charged, but we pay them, and we schedule these promotions for 8 days. So every day a bunch of websites are promoting our authors' books to their lists. So that's how we make sure that a lot of people see your book. Those interested will click and go to the Amazon page. They see that the reviews are great, the book's cover is good, the description is good, everything else looks nice, and they go and buy the book for 99 cents. So when hundreds of people do that within a week's time, and the book is in the right categories, it's bound to reach the #1 position.
Is there a huge budget needed to promote this, to promote the book?
Right. So our rates for doing the bestseller promotions is $1,500.
Okay.
So this goes towards all these promotional websites and my team's time and effort in promoting it. But you can actually get this started for at least, if you have a budget of $500, it should be good enough for you to do it on your own.
I suppose the question is, if the ultimate goal is as a starter to get in the bestsellers list, then if you can do that for $500, then fine. But I think based on what you've said, is more likely you would need the $1,500 to guarantee that. Or is that a simplification of it? So
the thing is, for a person who's doing it for the first time, there are so many moving pieces to this, right? You need to go and change the category, change the pricing in the middle of the night. There are a lot of these things. And you need to keep watching the Amazon system to see when did you hit the #1 position. So I would say if I'm the author, I would rather spend my time in going on other people's podcasts and giving interviews. Those are things only I can do. But all these other admin kind of tasks can be outsourced. And that's why I think it's important to get this done, because the launch has to be big.
Okay.
Everybody has to notice the book. It has to reach the #1 position for both the visibility and the credibility. But after that, you can continue your marketing efforts every month by running smaller things like Amazon ads and everything, and also organic promotions like talking to other people's audiences and all that.
Fantastic. So I must admit, you've opened my eyes to how this is done, and is done properly and correctly through an agency or an academy like yourselves. And it gives me confidence to think that if I wanted to do this myself, I'm sure some of my listeners will be thinking the same, then they can contact you and you can help them through this process.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if I was to ask you, again, if somebody wanted to work with you, Jyotsna, then how do people get in touch with you? Where's the best place?
Sure. So depending on at what level a person is in right now, at what stage, if you already have a manuscript written and you just want the next steps to get it published, then you can get on a call with my publishing consultants. Just head over to happyselfpublishing.com. Whichever button you click, it'll take you to a scheduling page where you can get on a call with us. But if you're in the starting stages, then I would love to have you on our next live boot camp, which happens inside our Facebook group. It's a 5-day boot camp where I teach a lot of amazing things on how do you get the fundamentals right to start the book project. So if you don't want to miss that, head over to happyselfpublishing.com/tribe. It will redirect you to our Facebook group. So be a part of that group and attend the next boot camp when it happens.
Are these run on a regular basis?
Yes, every
Right.
few weeks I run the boot camp.
Okay. Where else?
These two would be the ideal places,
Okay.
but otherwise you can also follow our work on Instagram. We
Yeah.
have our author success show on YouTube. So these are some of the places where you can get a lot of good free information to get started.
All right. Again, this is the funnel, isn't it? So it's part of the funnel. But if somebody wanted to come to you purely for the angel service, then can they do that, or do you still recommend they go through the two other stages, or certainly
So they can just go to happyselfpublishing.com and schedule a call with us. And we would have that 30-minute strategy call to understand if they are the right fit and we are the right fit for them. And then we'll get started by finding a good angel writer for them.
Okay. Again, I don't know if you want to share this, but typical costs in terms of the services that you provide once somebody's agreed to do some work.
Right. So we do typically two things. One is when an author already has a manuscript, our publishing services start at $2,999 US. But if somebody probably wants to go with impact amplifier, then if they want to work with a book coach, it would be $8,999. But if they want to work with an angel writer, it would be $15,999.
Right. Okay. Right. Great. You never know. You might have some listeners who are very keen to take you up on one of these offers. So every time I have a guest, I ask one particular question. And the question I always ask, which I'm going to do the same with you, is what does wealth mean to you?
This is such a deep question, Tony.
It is a deep question, but again, as I think I mentioned to you before we came on live, is that it does mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to hear from the guest perspective what it means to them, because this can be quite, as you say, it's a deep question, but I'm always fascinated to know what it means to you as an individual.
For me, at this point of time in my life, with the limited wisdom that I have, I feel that wealth is to be in a position where I can do whatever I feel like doing without having to worry about cash flow, and having the full support of my good health and family.
Wonderful. Fantastic. As I said to you, that's as good as answer that anybody's given me, because it's your answer. And it's important to you. So it's absolutely important to you and core to you in terms of your, as you say, where you are in your life at this moment in time.
Right. Thanks for making me think.
No, look, it's fine. I'm always fascinated with the answers I get from people, because they can be very varied. And I must admit, some of the ones I've never heard before, I've never even thought of somebody would give me. So it's quite a deep question. Probably depends the mood you're in when I'm asking the question. It depends on the stage of life that you're in. It depends on a number of different factors. And probably if I asked you that question again tomorrow, you would give me a slightly different answer. Jyotsna, it's been a real pleasure to speak to you today. And I've learned an awful lot myself. I'm sure my listeners will do the same. So I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to join us. And I'd like to wish you all the very best in everything that you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tony, for this wonderful opportunity and great conversation.